Star Trek Prodigy, Season 1, Episode 11 review.
Bless you, I think.
but
No, that was a cough.
Okay.
but Season 1, Episode 11. So we finally, it didn't take long getting the memory back.
And it didn't take long for them to get to Starfleet.
Oh,
Yeah.
well,
First contact with Starfleet.
that ended well, didn't it?
No.
We did find out that they do know who his species is, enough that there was an alert on his species, so that's interesting.
Like, you're the last, well, you're one of the last of your kind we needed to repopulate.
Cheeky, but I doubt it.
Yeah.
He's secretly Borg. No.
And then, how many sciences are there? They're over. Okay.
I must do them all.
What else?
That scene where she's got to calculate and stuff made me think of the scene from the Fear episode of Unit, where she has her nightmare about having to calculate but not being able to because of too many variables and stuff.
And we do get a little bit of actual Janeway.
Yeah.
And
a little bit of Chakotay.
Yep. And a little bit of the Diviner as well, but
yeah, that's gonna be fun.
Well, at least they know somewhat of what's going on now. So like they just at this point need to figure out a way to get rid of the virus.
Yeah. Figure out what that virus is.
I gotta say, I know the virus isn't sentient, but I'm just gonna say it's not really a smart virus. Like it'd be nice if it somehow found like a way to hold off. Like, if it didn't affect like a small outpost in the middle of nowhere, not really connected to Starfleet, then nobody would have known about it.
Yeah, but
I know it's not sentient, so it can't think.
Yeah.
It just attacked the first Starfleet thing it could see.
It attacks any Starfleet, anything Starfleet.
Yeah.
And well, it could have maybe gone, okay, well, we'll just download this off into this base, and then we'll just keep going until it's got enough nodes where this thing is running in the background, underneath everything. And then once we've infected enough of the network, then it's communicating with itself and going, okay, well, we have so many nodes collected, all right, activate. Which also, like, you could, one of the things was the thing was tearing itself apart because it was firing its own weapons at itself. Like, the Protostar has weapons. It could have just fired to disable the weapons.
Yeah, but those are kids. They don't know how to do that.
But Janeway's on there. Could have instructed Janeway.
Janeway didn't know what was going on.
Well, it could have been. They had communications, didn't they? Like they could have just told her. It's like, yeah, it's gone haywire. It's blowing itself up. You know, just like take out the weapons because it's destroying itself. And then boom, because it probably doesn't have it has some weapons, but not anything super impressive. So
Yeah.
just knock out, and it wasn't really aiming for the protostar because that was probably part of the program. Was yes, tear yourself apart. Do not touch the protostar because that also has the virus and it'll continue spreading the virus. That's the virus's container, so don't go killing that. So if you just take out the weapons, it can't tear itself apart.
And one thing I gotta say though, I don't really think it was like that big of a deal if they missed the ship on their jump. And I'm not talking about the tractor beam thing. I'm just thinking it's like, okay, so they missed it. Hologram Janeway just like moves the ship over. It's like, yeah, just pick you up. There wasn't really much of a threat.
Yeah.
Unless they didn't have spacesuits.
To them, it felt like a threat.
Yeah.
It wasn't to us because we were we can think outside the box, so to speak.
Well,
but they're just, they're just kids who like.
And honestly,
are already way in over their heads.
And honestly, I
add to it the fact that like they're in such a traumatic experience of they're on a ship that's destroying itself. They're not thinking the clearest.
Yeah. And honestly, I have to say, I think the math was pretty sound on her jump. The only variable that they did not think of is the last second explosion behind them, which gave them an extra boost.
Yeah.
Oh no, it's pretty sound.
I love the fact that she starts the countdown, and then she's like, wait, what if Zero's just continuing the countdown because he's just like, hey, I trust you.
Oh, so when I first saw the episode, one joke that instantly came to mind was, wait, am I watching Prodigy or the new Avatar movie?
Why?
I haven't seen the new Avatar movie, but it takes place like in the water.
Yeah.
It's a bit of a stretch.
And it also has giant whale creatures. Like the giant whale creature we see in the beginning of this episode. So not that big of a stretch.
Oh, okay, yeah, I see what. Okay, now I forgot about the beginning of the episode. And
oh yeah, that space whale
saving the whales.
It's a good episode. Now I wonder if the diviner is gonna. Well, he gets his memories back because that's gonna happen. I wonder if he's gonna be like, gonna pretend he's good, or just gonna be like, yeah, I'm just evil. I'm not gonna pretend I'm good.
It depends on. Like he may not be pretending at first and just like completely forgot what he was, what was going on. Like he had a complete personality reset, so who knows what he's forgotten, and who knows what his original personality was. What his personality would be like without his memories.
I gotta say though, he got a full dose of Medusa.
Yeah. So. And Janeway is the type that she would try to restore his memory.
Of course.
Because that's how Janeway she would do it. And so like
but honestly, I wonder if they have him in the system already as, oh hey, this guy's bad.
Remember he went back in time to before first contact.
Yeah.
So they don't have him in the system, and that's why they don't have her in the system either. That's why they don't have Gwen, because her, their species was unknown so yet. There was no first contact.
Yeah. And somebody misunderstands the nature of the Federation. It's like, oh, founding member, royalty. It's like, no.
Yeah.
Well regarded, with respect, royalty, no.
On Earth, they call these hot dogs and they're a delicacy.
No, kinda.
I wonder if, like, because I think we were informed on Enterprise that Tellarites like warm mud baths or something like that. I seem to remember something like that. And if that's the case, like, did he find out about that while he was on? Like, did he look up his own species now that he knows what it is? And he's like, wait, my species likes this? I didn't know about that. He tries to.
I thought he knew what his species was.
What?
He knew what his species was.
Well, I mean, like, more about it. Like,
yeah.
Like, he may have known what it was, but like with more Federation records, but maybe he didn't do it on the thing. But when he found out he was royalty, well, I want to learn more about my species, and then he finds out about that, and now he's got a mud bath somewhere.
Okay, I just
Hey, Janeway had a regular bath. Why not?
I just had a random thought that I thought of when I thought of those hot dogs. Since all their food and stuff, except for I guess like a few minor differences, is like all replicated with a replicator, right? Does that technically make everybody vegan since no animals are technically harmed in the meat making?
I mean, technically, no. I don't. That gets into the ethics of like grown meat, because it's replicators are, they do create the meat proteins.
Yeah.
So, although if you think really hard about it, that's all recycled shit. So,
Ew. But yeah. Like I guess to be like in between like vegan and not vegan, like it's still meat, but at the same time no animals were harmed.
exactly. That puts into question the ethics of,
Damn.
grown meat, and whether whether a vegan would eat grown meat. I mean, we know it's not we know it's not vegetarian, because
I would have to agree there. I think they would just have to like come up with a new word.
Yeah.
Like neo-vegan.
I was right about the mud baths.
Oh.
That's what I've been doing for the last second. We've been talking about that. I was like, I want to make sure I got that right. Or not.
Took mud baths.
Yeah, they sometimes take mud baths. It's like, But
honestly, I wouldn't mind taking a mud bath someday.
I would. What about you, Dex? Would you take a mud bath?
Probably not. That seems like a waste. Because then you gotta just go and getting that dirty just to go. You have to go clean up again. It's just.
I was about to say, if you're gonna say a waste of mud, I was about to say, oh yes, because we have a giant scarcity of mud.
Well, yeah, it'd just be a waste of time.
I mean, mud is very rare. I mean, he's a total douchebag, but he's very rare. Sorry, TOS reference.
Okay.
Although he is also in Discovery in the first season, but Harry Mudd is the name of the dude who introduced the Federation to Tribbles. His name is Mudd.
Yes.
Ah. Oh.
I think it's like Hartford Fenton Mudd or something like that. I know it's Harry Fenton Mudd. I think his first name is Hartford or some weird name like that. He's like one of those scam artist types, like pickpocket, thief, scam artist.
General ne'er-do-well.
Exactly.
But let's see what else. We've got the virus to worry about, so they're gonna have to be working on that. Just say, stay away from us. This thing's got a virus. We need to take it.
Well, they can't say stay away from us because contacting them with the
Well, they could put it on a burn it into a rock and like here we can't.
Yeah, just throw a rock at their window.
Well, just like burn into a phaser and then just like teleport it like right in front of their nose when they're stopped. And it's like, like
again,
we can't communicate. This ship is infected with a virus. Do not try to download our thing.
These are children.
Yes, but they have Janeway. So
yeah,
she could come up with something like that. It's like, we're infected. We can't communicate with other Starfleet ships or else it'll start blowing them up. So how do we communicate without using electronics?
Well, have you ever heard of the cup on a string technique? It's like, here, catch.
That technically would work in space.
But
I'm just saying.
Technically
because the point of the cup on a string is that sound waves are carried through the string to the other cup. So if you have a cup inside an airlock or whatever with just the force field, and then the other side is in another force field airlock, you can talk through it and they would be able to hear in theory.
Okay, I gotta search something up real quick.
But
1 second.
it would just take a very long string.
Okay, so the longest functioning tin can telephone, cup on a string, is 796 feet.
Keep in mind that it will be more efficient because you don't have the air to take off the sound waves. Because as you're talking, those sound waves disappear because of air resistance.
Yeah, being dampened.
Yeah.
And magnificent materials with which you could make your cup on a string. Because they'd have access to better cups, better string.
Yep. And so using a small filament that, would be more effective in space than it would on Earth because of the lack of air resistance.
Yeah. I'm thinking just get some paper, replicate some paper, write things out by hand, stuff it in a bottle that you make out of material that would be very unusual and would get the attention of somebody. Take that, throw it out the airlock at them, and it's like, oh, okay. Oh, okay. Now I understand why they're communicating this way. And somebody might have some computer warfare specialists and send some of them over to, like, okay, well, let's see what we can do.
Oh, one thing I gotta.
The fact that those are good ideas just mean that it would totally.
Oh, it's not
ruin
going to
the
happen that
storyline?
easily because, again, you can't solve the problem that quickly.
Exactly.
Like, this is supposed to be a big, long-term, season-wide problem that won't be resolved at least until the end of the season, probably. But, so we're going to, we're going to have it not be solved by the simplest and most reasonable means possible.
Yeah, Sherlock Holmes can kiss their ass.
No, another suggestion. Okay, so they're like, hey, roll down your window. I'm gonna throw a paper airplane to you with a note on it.
I mean, technically, a paper airplane would work pretty well, considering the fact that there, again, no air resistance.
Yeah.
So it'll fly straight to them.
Yeah.
You just have to have a really good aim.
Yeah.
Provided you gave it the right initial vector, it would continue, and there's nothing in the way. Now, as long as nothing's in the way, and you give it the right initial vector, it'll go wherever you threw it.
And one thing I have to say, I already know who the most powerful character in this show is, and it's a good thing they're not evil, because they could rule the whole universe in a snap.
Murph?
Yes, it's that damn slug creature.
Yeah.
Like they can swallow the protostar, and apparently they don't need air to breathe.
They're basically indestructible.
Pretty much, yeah. They could be a god. I love it.
They're adorable as heck.
I know. Everybody's like panicking, and it's just like just
everybody's screaming, and Murph's just like, "Ben!"
All glory to the hypno slug.
Oh my god, yes. He's like the Tom Bombadil of Star Trek.
He really is.
Be carefree and powerful beyond belief.
The funny thing is, Bombadil had a wife who was just as old as him. So technically, he's not the most powerful being, because we all know the wife is more powerful.
True. I do love the part though. Like he picks up the ring. It's like, eh.
Yeah. No fucks given.
Why did they put him in the movies?
I know.
Like, I think it's mostly that he's a lot of fun, but he also does nothing for the story.
That's true.
He doesn't carry much of the plot.
Yeah.
He was easily replaced by Arwen.
I mean, I could say that about a couple characters in Lord of the Rings, but that's just me.
Yeah, but keep in mind, Legolas is a pretty boy, so.
Yeah.
They needed those teenage girls.
Yeah. Bombadil is entertaining, but he's also, he's easily replaced. He's easily cut out of the film without actually losing a lot.
Ooh.
Well, I mean, they added that he was easily replaced because he wasn't a pretty, teenage heartthrob. which is why they added Legolas to The Hobbit.
I wonder if they put him in the Amazon Lord of the
No.
Rings show.
No, not yet. At least not in season 1.
Ah.
But keep in mind, this is before the War for the Ring. This is before the Forging of the Rings.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
So they might not have come across him yet. They haven't even. They only just got to Middle Earth in that point. They were in most of the movie was like taking place in like Numenor.
True.
I mean, the not movie, but the series.
Let's see what else in this magical episode.
I like how Jankum is able to take a bad thing and enjoy it. It's like, ooh, all you can eat buffet.
Yeah, but I have to say though, this hot dog really needs some relish.
I don't know. He was relishing this situation.
Hey.
Even though they were in quite a pickle.
That's what it needed. No.
And Dal was like freaking out trying to rescue her, and she ended up rescuing herself.
Hey, that weapon is useful.
It really is. That heirloom is like freaking badass.
Yeah. It also wouldn't have surprised me if, like, the thing about the what I imagine the reason why it was hot dogs is because hot dogs are stupid easy to make. In terms of, I would think, in like trying to render out a 3D hot dog, like just the Frankfurter, like that's really easy. And so like it could have been pickles as well, because those are also probably relatively easy because they're not a complex shape, they're just a tube.
That is true.
So basically anything like that, and it's probably why also if they do like cake or anything like that, it'll be this nice perfect triangle of cake or something, because that little arc of cake, because that's a very easy shape to do, because like unless it specifically needs to be a certain something, they're gonna pick the easiest shape to do, because it puts less strain on the people making assets.
You know, in TOS, all of their food, no matter what it tasted like, was just cubes anyway.
Yeah.
Because the original series replicators were not as defined, which is kind of ironic considering the fact that Enterprise replicators were able to replicate.
Well, they weren't replicators; they were protein
synthesizers.
Sequencers or something like that. They weren't technically a replicator, because they were just sort of taking protein that was already in the bucket and just sort of arranging it.
But they still were able to arrange it pretty.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. So, I mean, but yeah, then replicated and it just becomes cubes. Or it could have been just like a food craze too. Like the square thing. Like
maybe.
That's like a fad that happened. Like, you know, it's a thing that happened and then just like, oh yeah, no, we just decided that we didn't want it to be cubes anymore. And that's just
kind of like the Klingon foreheads. It's like, we you know, it was just a mistake created by Soong again. Like, I feel sorry for anybody in the real world whose last name is Soong, because he is such like a pioneer / douchebag. Like, he created the virus that caused the Klingons to have the smooth foreheads. He created the he was a pioneer in like artificial intelligence and eugenics. It's like all the most questionable sciences come from zoos.
Yeah.
But
So, it looks like I'm not the only one to have the vegan question. One person says, I say they can't. Why? At some point, say a 20-ounce T-bone steak, a real one, butchered from a cow, had to have been scanned and its files stored, so the replicated meat may not be coming from a freshly killed cow, but the pattern used did.
but but from my perspective, you take into account that because you have scanned it in, you are averting the deaths of many, infinite number of cows in the future. So therefore, it well outstrips the.
If you're thinking that way, though, consider supply and demand. The lack of demand for cattle causes a depletion in population because they are no longer grown for food.
Yeah, but they're not.
Therefore, they're
It's
no
not like
longer
they're gonna go out and probably cull entire herds. They're just gonna not work on reproduce. They're just those ranches are just gonna get smaller and smaller as the land gets turned over to doing other things. Like
Yeah, until eventually the cattle are no longer protected because,
oh, I'm
they're
sure
no longer
there'll still be some people like that demand real ingredients, not this stuff. So there
Oh,
will
you
still
mean,
be some ranches probably,
yeah,
but
Planet Texas.
but
Yeah,
there'll probably be some ranches still, I would imagine. But
Dex's descendants are gonna be like, I want my brisket, bastard.
yeah, well, it's just gonna be like, okay, so they want their real thing, so they still raise cattle, and it may be you know some at some point if it gets to where not even the people demand or even the real thing, like if it becomes that much, like they'll just end up in zoos. It's like, yes, that thing you eat, the steak, this is the animal it was scanned from.
I don't know if they'll have zoos anymore.
Because you could just do a holographic thing.
And zoos are kind of cruel if you think about it.
Still do it probably,
Yeah,
but
yes and no.
I mean, I understand they're great for conservation and stuff, but at the same time,
Eh, could be a conservation park or something where they just have these cows in a field somewhere, and that's how the species is. Like if you go to see them, like it's in a big conservation park that they can free roam and live out their days in really like as natural a situation as they can get, and you can just go, hey Jimmy, you know what that animal is? No, that's a cow. That's where your steaks come from. Like that's where your steaks were scanned from. Ooh. But I don't know. I think we've left the the area around this episode a bit. um. What else?
Uh, why isn't there space dominoes? I don't know.
Well, when you can just replicate a pizza, like Why would there need to be a space? Like, I'm sure maybe on Earth there might be,
I'm
but
sorry. I'm sorry. I just instantly thought of something. It's not delivery. It's replicated.
yeah. Oh yeah, I'm sure that yeah, and I'm sure the thing about the replicated pizza is I imagine that it's been fortified with lots of extra nutrition to make it like actually quite nutritious. Like yes, we while we were tweaking with the recipe, we slipped in some extra nutrition here and there. It doesn't affect the flavor or taste or texture any. It's just sort of slipped in there so that these are actually more nutritious meals.
Okay. I just thought so I got like two replicator questions. One, who invented it, or was it like a group thing?
I don't know that they've ever actually covered that, which is one of those weird things. But like, yeah, it exists, but I don't know that we ever actually see it get made because there's like Enterprise doesn't have replicators as protein resequencers. There's that one episode, but that's not Federation tech
Yeah.
or Earth tech at that point.
Eh.
And then I haven't watched Discovery, so don't know if they have replicators there. And then by TOS we have replicators, but they're doing the square thing. So somewhere between Enterprise and TOS, replicators came into being, but I don't know they ever actually tell us who invented it. You know, because it's part transporter technology, so like it's post that and
Okay. And my second question is, it's kind of a weird one. As I know, replicators can pretty much replicate. I'm going to say like almost anything. There's probably like some things they can't replicate.
it's
Is there a copyright thing?
No.
Like for example, it's like somebody has like the copyright on like a certain type of chocolate cake that nobody else can replicate unless they have permission to.
No,
Okay.
because you do get credit for creating things, but once it's in system, it's public domain because they don't, within the Federation, they don't really have that monetary system.
Okay. But
I
I'm
mean,
not.
until they do get into barter systems once you get out of the Federation, like with the Ferengi and stuff, who are
Okay.
not full Federation members. They're just,
But
allies.
I am guessing though, like not on copyright, since I am guessing there are like some things that are like banned from replicated, like it won't let you. Like for example, there's no way Starfleet would let a normal person replicate a nuke, like a mini nuke.
there's limitations on like what you can use your replicator for. Like they're limited. They've got like you can't make certain ones are made where you can't make weapons or something like it can be
Yeah.
restricted, but like
You can't make phasers in a food replicator,
Okay, makes sense. Oh god, I would love a food replicator.
right?
That would be the most useful thing ever.
Especially since I've been spent my days off this week just lying down trying not to cough my lungs up, so I didn't get a chance to do shopping. So I would love a food replicator. I've basically had omelet this week because we have eggs and cheese.
Omelets are bad.
We
Yeah.
have eggs and cheese and onions, so I've just been eating that.
Yeah. Star Trek should just feel like like a giant replicator. Like, I mean, like really big, so big it can like replicate an entire planet. Planet Bob.
Don't think it works that way.
Yeah.
Although in one of the movies, the one right before Search for Spock, they did have a what's it called, terraforming machine that terraformed an entire planet. And that was kind of the whole point of Search for wait, I think it was Search for Spock because Spock died while they were
Shocking.
terraforming the planet, and his Katra was there, and they needed to find his body or something. I don't remember. It's been a long time since I watched the classic movies.
No. Oh, let's see. Do I got anything more of this magical episode?
Yeah, I looked it up on Memory Alpha, and it was very sparse. It's like it kind of skips basically what I was saying. It kind of skips that era and says, yeah, but by the 24th century, you know, TNG onward, yeah, they got replicators out the wazoo, and it's fine. But like, it just sort of, we don't really know when it came into practice with the Federation. We don't know. Like, it came in some place, but we don't know. Like, that's something that they could handle in something like, I don't know. Well, Discovery jumped to the future, didn't they? But
I don't know. I'm still on season 1.
oh, sorry.
I just started rewatching it again, so I'm still on season 1.
Yeah. I don't think they're gonna cover it at this point. I'll just say that. And then so unless somebody else sort of cuts into that part of the timeline, between TOS and TNG, somebody else cuts into that part of the timeline. Though I would have to look at the movies where the what?
Is Strange New World
I think that's around
future,
that.
or
They're also in that kind of era.
yeah, no, Strange New World is
It's
Captain Pike's, so
it's pre-TOS.
it's pre-TOS.
But at that point, so replicators were still, they were imperfect, but they existed. So like the perfected, maybe they could explore like the imperfect replicator, and then the perfect replicator could come at the end of that. But then I'd have to look at the classic movies and see if they had any replicators, because they also come in between. They come in between TOS and TNG. So
Yeah.
like you'd have to look and see, okay, well, where did replicators come in? Because we know they existed in TNG. They in their more perfect form, and then TOS had them, but they were square. I don't know. They weren't quite as good, and then I think anyway, a whole history of the replicator could be interesting. But
I mean, the history of all the Star Trek tech, because I mean, if you think about the differences and the fact that they backtrack a lot, so some of that history gets retconned.
yeah. Or yeah, but sometimes we do get more information. Like I think we got an episode on the transporter, and they started using that on, really using it on Enterprise. That one guy came in, and it was something about a new way of doing the transporter that they were trying out.
Yeah,
but it didn't work out or something. I forget.
But so they used shuttles a lot in the Enterprise, and they only just created the transporter in Enterprise.
Yeah, Enterprise was the first. It had a transporter, but everybody was really leery about using it. It's like,
Yeah.
like I don't want my atoms scattered across. Yeah, but eventually, like they were fine with using it for beaming up materials. Is like, okay, well, I'm not worried about this tube of grease being transported, having its atoms scattered across. We just need to get another tube of grease. So yeah, that sort of thing. Oh, we have rambled on quite a while, but
Hey, rambling's good.
we're up to 45 minutes. So unless we have something else to say.
I love the fact that we randomly got into a Lord of the Rings discussion.
I know. I don't think I have that on my bingo board.
No, me either.
Oh yeah, like yeah, just expect us to go off topic. It's just a matter of time.
What time? Doctor Who?
Yeah.
Dr. Hooves?
Oh my god.
John Delancey? What?
But yeah, I got.
And that
I
gets us
got
right back around to Star Trek.
But yeah, I got nothing more on this episode.
All right.
I mean, Delancey was in Picard.
Anyway.
I mean, you would expect that because Picard and Q are just like hand in hand.
All right. Well, call that a recording.